Well, this is just a quick live, and hello to everyone, but this is just quick because I was featured in an article today. I was, and so happy. It was just so cool to be featured, and I'm gonna read some of the article to y'all. So here it is. Politicians dread the sting of the K Hive, the prevalent online fans of Kamala Harris. So I was featured in the L.A. Times. So it mostly talked about, the prominence of Kamala Harris and how she's doing as a VP, which I think she's doing fabulous. Her and the Biden administration. I mean, everybody got the stimulus checks. And everybody's getting vaccinated. So, hopefully there's some ground. But I'm going to scroll down to my comments of what I said because, this is my life. So here it is. I'm going to scroll. Where is it? I should have had on my glasses like a fool, and I did not have my goddamn glasses on like an ass. Thank you, cousin. So I will just read. Where is that thing? Of me, because it introduced my name and whatnot. So here it goes. Barry, the Brooklyn College graduate student, began making and posting videos in Harris' defense, which is true. Barry says she was excited about the potential for a black female president. I damn sure was. But she has also felt increasingly frustrated with progressives online who she sees as more interested in picking apart ideas than getting things done. That is true. She ties them to the same forces that have brought gentrification to parts of her native New York. Not quite, but recasting what it means to be a progressive. That is true. The right is going to be just crazy and nuts because they are. I mean, look at the Republican Party today. They're not the party of morality or conservatism. But progressives, if they were truly progressive, would not disrespect the first Madam Vice President. And that is so true because today's definition of progressivism is not what I grew up knowing and seeing. So to be a progressive is to be an advocate for social change or new liberal ideas, right? Yes, I'm gonna take a picture of it and send it to Auntie in a text. Yeah. So I was featured in that article. So thank you, cousin. But to be like I said, I grew up being around progressives in my neighborhood of Harlem, and as you know, New York is pretty much a progressive place. Well, old school progressivism. I don't know about this new school progressivism stuff, but the progressives that I grew up around were activists and was on the ground, like actually protesting, meeting with lawmakers, even driving up to the mayor's office, the governor's office, and driving down to Washington to get things done. Right? Because that's what the true meaning of progressivism is. And to be a progressive, you're proposing new liberal ideas and bringing it to people's attention, engaging people who even don't think the same way as you, right? But today's progressives in the Democratic Party, or if they're independent or they want to be affiliated with a Democratic Party, because some of them don't, which I can understand, don't involve people. They claim to be diverse and inclusive, and I found like 85% of them not to be. And people may get offended of what I'm saying, but more of the white men in the progressive wing of the party are not inclusive, and even some of the white women, because all they do is criticize candidates and criticize different politicians, and actually working with those same politicians you criticize, because that's what being a progressive is. Working with people, even if you don't freaking agree with them, you work with them to find some common ground. And people like Ryan Knight, Brianna Gray, David Serrata, Crystal Ball, Katie Halper, Walker Brackman, and the list goes on, seem to not understand that. They so fixated on overthrowing the government, but not having a strategic plan or a positive approach to actually work with people to actually get things done. Just because you elect some people that think like you doesn't mean they have to work with other people that don't think like them. That's what is called make the world go round, how democracy works, and is also called civics. Something that you should know and study if you don't know it. So that was part of the article. And she says, like other K-hivers, she complains about the toxicity on the online world. That is true. And even she plays in it. Not quite, but if you come for me, I'm going to come for you. You start with me, I will finish it. I am not a person to start drama, but I am the person to end the shit. Trust me, you don't want to get into words with me or any other argument with me. Asked whether she has considered leaving it, she says she has tough skin. I do. I'm from Harlem, and I'm no punk, because I'm not no punk. You guys are doing this online stuff because I know in person you will never approach me. And that is true. All the folks that attack me on my Twitter and try to come in my Instagram stuff, it's not a good sign for you to do that. Because, especially some of you big profile people, because some of y'all do live in the same city as me, and I do walk around in this city. Sometimes I'm on 34th Street, 42nd Street, sometimes the Soho district, uptown in Harlem, and the Bronx. Sometimes if I want to travel to Brooklyn, I can, or travel to Queens because I have family in Queens. Like, I'm around this city. It's not a good look. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to beat you up because I'm too grown for that. But if you come up to me, or if we're near the same vicinity, I'm going to say hello, and what is your problem? Because I have no problem with nobody. But if you have a problem with me, if you're trolling people and trolling good friends of mine online for no reason, oh, trust, you will have that problem. We will have those words of exchange. And I'm a civil and decent person. So if you want to be rah, that's your business. Because you're not going to get me out of my character. You're not. Because you don't want this smoke. No. So, yeah, you won't have the balls to come to me. People saying my mom and that I'm not cute and everything. You wouldn't say that to me in person. You wouldn't have the balls that you type on Twitter, all the names that you type on Twitter about me and all the shit that you talk on Twitter and all these other social media platforms. You don't have the balls to come up to a person like me. My face, I am not approachable. And I was told by many people, I'm not. I'm nice, but I'm not approachable. You get to know me, I'm extremely a pleasant person. Just don't fuck with me. That's all I ask. Don't come for me. Don't troll me and think that people are not going to bite back. It's not that hard. I don't play that. Simple as that. Then they asked me about Marianne Williamson's tweet, and she declined for a comment, of course, because that's what happens when what punks do. This is a prime example. When you are a punk, you're just a punk. And when you are a person who just have the keyboard thuggish part of you, want to say stand back and stand by, or your mom and this and that, but when asked to comment on the situation, you can't comment. Shows what kind of person you are. And you're not tough skin, you're thin skin, Miss Williamson. That stand back and stand by stuff, that sounds more Trumpian than someone say you're about to go through some shit, because the struggle looks all in your face in your videos, lady. So that's one. There's other folks who says some interesting things. I found it to be very funny. So I'm just going to pull it up because it's hilarious. So here we are. So in the beginning of the article, they explain about the K-Hive. They share videos of Harris stepping off the Air Force 2, making offline friendships, wearing socks and hoodies, bearing their names and likeliness. Excuse me. They organize virtual cooking Sunday parties and offer support to other K-Hive members. That is true, because we helped some of them pay their bills, because some of them was about to lose their homes and shit, and we helped them pay their bills and help them eat and all this other shit, and help them mentally and physically. But it's not all sweetness. Almost any politician, activist, or reporter who has questioned Harris has felt the group's sting. They're vicious, said Brianna Joy Gray, former press secretary, they should say, of the Sanders 2020 campaign, who tangled with the group more than once. I mean, she started with the group. When you say something about Kamala and then quoted somebody's tweet saying something about Kamala and try to say something nasty about Kamala, of course that person is going to respond. And the response ain't going to be nice and pleasant. And then another former Sanders campaign staff member. I'm not interested in talking about the subject at all. Say David Serrata, another former Sanders advisor and frequent K-Hive target. First of all, nobody's targeting David Serrata. If anything, David Serrata put the target on his back. He's the main keyboard thug. He's more of a keyboard thug than Brianna Gray. Like, literally. He is. He's a 44, 45-year-old white man with a receding hairline of a 60-year-old white man, which is sad, because there's 60-year-old white men that actually look better than you, because it's the truth. You get into Twitter spats with women, mostly, because you don't really get into it with men too much. Because I don't see that, but you get into it with women. That's a problem. And that's why I question, are you really a man or you're a woman at heart? And I say that because I see you argue with women more than men. Just saying. And then also, you have all this smoke for people, especially black women in the K-Hive, or black women in any campaign that they serve, unless it's Bernie. You have a problem with them. But when you are fact-checked and when you are approached and when you are basically read to filth, you block them like a little bitch. So you tried that shit with me. I read you. I read it. I did a whole thread on your ass. I exposed your racism. You blocked me once. Then you unblocked me again because I had a list and saying people will go through things. It wasn't a death threat. It was a prayer and a testimony that I read in my daily prayers and blessings, which is a devotional. And I thought about people who troll people, who was nasty to people, because there was people that was nasty to me online and nasty to my friends online. And so I put a list and said who's going through some stuff. It's not a threat. Donald Trump used going through things as a threat because he's an idiot. I use that because my grandmother and my mother and the elder women in my family always said that shit when you do wrong to people. And they even say every dog has its day too, because that's another saying too. Or you going through some things. And I'd rather use going through some things because people don't understand the phrase every dog has its day. Because every dog has its day means you're going to have your day. And your karma is going to come so hard on you. And it's not just only going to hit you, it's going to hit your family too. And you're lucky I ain't mentioned your families. Because if I did, you really would have had a tissy fit. But back to David Serrata. You're a whole entire punk. You a keyboard thug. You know, when it comes to getting approached, you run like a little bitch. So, therefore, you are a punk. But back to Miss Gray. She also said something stupid, too. Another thing she said stupid later in this article, which I found it to be interesting. And then I'm going to end this right here because I have to say this because this shit is just too funny. So, Gray, the former Sanders advisor and podcast host, calls Harris online fans politically irrelevant. And she says others have been the subject of attacks simply for citing Harris' record, including her prior support for Sanders' Medicare for All bill at her proposal last year to cut Americans' checks of $2,000 a month throughout the pandemic. The bill Biden signed into law last month gave one-time checks of $1,400 to most Americans. The K-Hive doesn't have an ideological agenda. It's a fan club where they really, really like Kamala Harris and they view any disagreement, political disagreement with her, an attack on her personalhood. Okay, so I gotta address this one. I've been dying to do it all day. So, to Ms. Gray. One, the $2,000 a month bill was not Bernie Sanders' bill for the last fucking time. It wasn't. It was Kamala Harris's bill because Forbes reported it, and so did Essence and many other newspaper and media outlets. So that's one. Two, the K-Hive is not a fan club. We do have an ideological view and spectrum. And believe it or not, we're the real progressives out there. Excuse me. And some are moderate and some are centrist. It's called a coalition. You have people that are black, white, red, yellow, green, straight, gay, centrist, independent, moderate, progressive. It's called a coalition. Something that the Sanders campaign, aka the Bernie Bros, are not. You guys think one way. The K-Hive have many ideas. Coalition. You need to learn that term. And politically irrelevant, none of us is looking for the spotlight. Unlike you, podcaster, who can't get a job because you have, one, criticized the media, two, criticized the political commentators that is on these major networks, and three, you criticize even some independent folks like Roland Martin. And lastly, you're just evil. Like, you're such a spoiled brat. Like, you can't even get out your own head. That's why you have a podcast that is going nowhere. I'll give you like another 3 to 6 months, you be gone. Like, no one will never hear of you ever again. You will try to grift again just to keep your rent up. If I was you, girl, I would apply for affordable housing real quick. You still got some time. I got my apartment through affordable housing. You live in New York. You can get that shit. I'm pretty sure you can, if you can. But then again, you're worth $1 million, so you can't get that shit. You could get a bigger space. Instead of living in a studio, you choose to live in a studio. You choose to live like a squalor. So that's what happens. But politically irrelevant, coming from the person that will be irrelevant really soon, I think don't need to take cheap shots at nobody. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that I was part of an article, so I will share it on my other social media platforms. But then I will send the article to you, cousin Danella. But thank you for tuning in. You can catch it on the live, you can catch it on this, and you can catch it on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Have a good night.